Every morning, across the globe, billions of people perform the same ritual of spiritual surrender. They bow their heads not in prayer, but over laptops and phones, begging the corporate gods to find them worthy of employment. They craft perfect resumes like offerings at an altar, hoping to be chosen, selected, picked from the endless sea of desperate souls. Think about the sheer insanity of this divine beings created with infinite potential, reducing themselves to bullet points and keywords, trying to prove their worth to systems designed to minimize their humanity. We've normalized this mass surrender of human potential, this wholesale abandonment of divine purpose. We celebrate when our children learn to shrink themselves small enough to fit into boxes labeled employable. We congratulate each other for successfully contorting our souls into shapes that corporations find useful. But today I'm going to share something that will shatter this illusion, something that challenges everything you've been taught about work and success. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, drenched in sweat, terrified about where your next paycheck would come from? That fear, that gut-wrenching anxiety that makes you question every life decision you've ever made. I see it in your eyes right now. Some of you are nodding because you lived through it just last night. Others are shifting uncomfortably in your seats because this hits too close to home. But what if I told you that this fear, this constant worry about work and money, is nothing but an illusion? What if I told you that everything you've been taught about working hard, struggling, and fighting for survival is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how the universe actually operates? You see, we've all been programmed since childhood with this deeply flawed belief system. Get good grades, find a secure job, work hard, save money, and maybe, just maybe, you'll have enough to retire comfortably. How's that working out for humanity? Look around. Look at the stress lines on people's faces. Listen to the sighs of resignation in offices worldwide. Watch how people drag themselves through their days, living for weekends, dreading Mondays. The truth that's going to shake your world today is this: a God never intended for you to spend your life looking for work. The very concept of looking for work is a human construct that goes against the natural flow of the universe. Every single creature on this planet, from the tiniest ant to the mightiest elephant, is provided for without filling out job applications or updating their resumes. Think about it. Have you ever seen a flower struggling to bloom? Does it wake up worried about whether it will have enough sunlight or water? Does it compare itself to other flowers and think, oh, that rose in the next garden has better petals than me, I better work harder? Of course not. The flower simply exists in perfect harmony with the universal flow of life. But we're different, you might say. We have bills to pay, mouths to feed, responsibilities to meet. Yes, we do have these modern constructs, but the underlying principle remains the same. The universe, God, the divine intelligence, whatever name resonates with you, operates on principles of abundance, not scarcity. When you understand this truth at the deepest level of your being, everything changes. Your entire relationship with work, money, and success undergoes a profound transformation. You stop being a beggar at life's table and recognize yourself as an integral part of the cosmic dance of abundance. Let me share something that might surprise you. The most successful people in history never looked for work. They discovered their natural flow, their divine assignment, and allowed the universe to work through them. They understood that their job wasn't to chase opportunities, but to become so aligned with their authentic purpose that opportunities naturally gravitated toward them. Right now, some of you are thinking, that sounds nice, but it's not practical. Let me challenge that thought. What's not practical is spending your life force energy doing work that doesn't align with your soul's purpose. What's not practical is fighting against the natural flow of the universe. What's not practical is believing that your security comes from an employer rather than from your connection to the infinite source of all abundance. Every time you've truly been in the flow, when work felt effortless and rewards came easily, you weren't looking for work. You were simply being who you were meant to be. Those moments weren't accidents. They were glimpses of your natural state of being. The problem isn't that there isn't enough work or money in the world. The problem is that we've been approaching it all wrong. We've been trying to force, to control, to manipulate our way into security when true security only comes from aligning with divine law. Think about breathing for a moment. Do you worry about whether there will be enough air for your next breath? Do you stockpile air? Do you compete with others for air? No. You simply trust that the air will be there, and it always is. This same trust, this same knowing should apply to your work and your provision. When you wake up in the morning, your heart beats without your conscious effort. Your cells know exactly what to do without your supervision. Your lungs expand and contract without you having to remember to breathe. If the intelligence that created the universe can manage all of these complex systems without your input, don't you think it can handle your career and financial well-being? But here's where many people get stuck. They hear these truths and intellectually agree, but they don't know how to bridge the gap between their current reality and this new way of being. They want to trust in divine provision, but their bank account is screaming for attention. They want to stop looking for work, but their conditioning keeps pulling them back to the job boards and recruitment websites. The shift begins with understanding that stopping looking for work doesn't mean becoming passive or irresponsible. It means shifting from a paradigm of seeking to one of allowing. It means moving from a space of desperate searching to one of inspired action. It means trusting that when you align with your authentic purpose, the right opportunities will find you. This isn't some magical thinking or wish fulfillment fantasy. This is about understanding and applying universal laws that are as reliable as gravity. Just as gravity works whether you believe in it or not, these principles of divine provision work whether you currently accept them or not. Let me tell you about something that happened just recently. In a room much like this, a woman stood up, tears streaming down her face. She had spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder, doing everything right. She had the prestigious job, the corner office, the impressive salary. But she was dying inside. Every morning she would put on her power suit-like armor, hiding her true self behind a mask of competence and control. You know what her biggest fear was? It wasn't failing. It wasn't even losing her job. Her biggest fear was succeeding at something that wasn't truly hers to do. Because deep down, she knew she was living someone else's dream, following someone else's path, and fulfilling someone else's expectations. How many of you can relate to that? How many of you are wearing masks right now, pretending to be something you're not because you think that's what you need to do to survive? I want you to take a moment right now. Place your hand on your heart. Feel its rhythm. That beating isn't random. It's the same force that keeps the planets in orbit, that causes seeds to sprout, that moves the tides. That force knows exactly what you're meant to do, who you're meant to be, and how you're meant to serve. The divine intelligence that orchestrates the entire universe isn't confused about your purpose. It's not scratching its head, wondering what to do with you. The only confusion exists in our minds when we try to force our way into roles and positions that don't align with our true nature. Think about water for a moment. Water doesn't struggle to flow. It simply follows its natural path. When it encounters an obstacle, it doesn't fight. It flows around it. It doesn't stop and complain about the rock in its path. It doesn't form a committee to discuss the problem. It doesn't update its resume hoping to find an easier route. It simply flows, constantly moving toward its destination. This is the kind of effortless movement I'm talking about. When you stop looking for work and start allowing your divine assignment to find you, life begins to flow in this same natural way. But here's the key. We have to be willing to let go of your preconceptions about what that should look like. Many people hear this message and think it means sitting on their couch, waiting for opportunities to magically appear. That's not what this is about. Nature isn't passive. It's constantly in motion, constantly growing, constantly creating. But there's a profound difference between forced action and inspired. When you're forcing, you feel resistance, you feel struggle, you feel fear. When you're in inspired action, you feel flow, you feel alignment, you feel peace even when you're working hard. The effort itself becomes a joy rather than a burden. Let me address something that might be coming up for some of you right now. You might be thinking, but I have responsibilities. I have bills to pay. I can't just quit my job and trust that everything will work out. I'm not suggesting you should. What I am suggesting is that you begin to shift your relationship with work right where you are. Start by recognizing that your current job, whatever it is, isn't your source. It's just one channel through which the infinite source expresses itself in your life right now. When you truly understand this, something remarkable happens. You either begin to find joy and purpose in your current work, or opportunities for transition naturally appear. The universe operates through attraction, not through force. When you're constantly looking for work, you're operating from a place of lack, and that energy of lack actually repels the very opportunities you're seeking. It's like desperately searching for love. The desperation itself becomes a barrier to finding. Instead, focus on becoming so aligned with your true nature that you become magnetic to the right opportunities. This isn't about positive thinking or affirmations, though those can be helpful tools. This is about a fundamental shift in your relationship with the divine source of all provision. Remember that woman I mentioned earlier? She made this shift. She stopped looking for her next career move and started listening to her heart. She began to trust that still, small voice within that had been trying to guide her all along. And yes, she eventually left her corporate job, not in a dramatic quit your job and hope for the best way, but through a graceful transition that opened up naturally as she aligned with her true purpose. The key is understanding that your work, your true work, isn't something you need to find. It's something you need to allow to find you. It's already there, encoded in your DNA, written in your heart, waiting to be expressed through you. Think about a pregnant woman. She doesn't need to force the baby to grow. She doesn't need to consciously direct the development of organs or the formation of fingers and toes. Her job is to provide the right environment and trust in the intelligence that knows exactly how to create life. Your divine assignment works the same way. You don't need to force it into existence. You don't need to figure it all out. Your job is to create the right internal environment, an environment of trust, openness, and alignment with your true nature. You know what's fascinating? Every major spiritual tradition, every ancient wisdom teaching points to the same truth. Abundance is our natural state. Lack is learned. Fear is learned. We weren't born believing we had to fight for our place in the world. We weren't born believing we had to compete for resources. We weren't born believing we had to look for work. Watch a young child at play. They don't worry about being productive. They don't stress about their contribution to society. They simply follow their natural inclinations, and in doing so, they learn, grow, and develop exactly as they're meant to. When did we lose that natural trust in life? When did we start believing that unless we force, push, and struggle, nothing good will come to us? Let me share something profound with you. The very fact that you have a desire to do something meaningful with your life is evidence that you're meant to do it. The universe doesn't plant desires in our hearts without also providing the means to fulfill them. But here's where we often go wrong. We try to fulfill these desires through our own limited understanding and effort. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the air filling your lungs. You didn't have to negotiate for that breath. You didn't have to prove you were worthy of it. You didn't have to look for it. It was simply there for you, as it has been since the moment you were born. This is how life is meant to work in all areas, including your work and purpose. But I can feel some of you resisting this truth. You're thinking about your bills, your mortgage, your children's education. You're thinking about the economy, about job market statistics, about your age or your qualifications. Let me tell you something. None of these things have power over your life unless you give them that power. The same intelligence that ensures there's enough oxygen for every living being on this planet, that makes sure there's enough sunlight for every plant to grow, that maintains the perfect balance in our ecosystem. That same intelligence is more than capable of ensuring you have everything you need to fulfill your purpose. Think about this. Every problem that exists in the world is actually an opportunity for service. Every need is a call for someone to fulfill it. Every challenge is an invitation for a solution. The world doesn't need more people desperately looking for work. It needs more people awakened to their true purpose, ready to serve in their unique way. When you stop looking for work and start allowing your divine assignment to find you, Something miraculous happens. The very things you used to chase begin chasing you. Opportunities start appearing in unexpected ways. People come into your life at exactly the right moment. Resources show up just when you need them. This isn't coincidence or luck. This is the natural result of aligning yourself with universal law. Just as a radio must be tuned to the right frequency to receive a clear signal, you must be tuned to the frequency of trust and alignment to receive your good. Let me address something that might be troubling some of you. You might be thinking, but what about preparation? What about planning? What about responsibility? These things are important, but they need to come from the right place. When preparation comes from fear, it creates more fear. When planning comes from lack, it creates more lack. When responsibility is driven by anxiety, it creates more anxiety. Instead, let your preparation come from inspiration. Let your planning come from a place of excited anticipation. Let your sense of responsibility arise from love. Love for yourself, love for others, love for the work you're meant to do. Consider how nature prepares. A tree doesn't worry about whether it should grow leaves in spring. It doesn't attend workshops on leaf growing or read books about photosynthesis. It simply responds to the intelligence within it, growing and expanding in perfect timing with the seasons. You have the same intelligence within you. You have an inner guidance system that knows exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. But here's the challenge. We've been taught to distrust this inner wisdom. We've been conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers, to seek validation from others, to measure our worth by external standards. This is why so many people feel lost when it comes to their work and purpose. They're looking in the wrong direction. They're searching outside for what can only be found within. They're trying to figure out with their minds what their hearts already know. The shift from looking for work to allowing your divine assignment isn't just about career or money. It's about reclaiming your natural state of being. It's about remembering who you really are and why you're really here. It's about trusting in the perfect unfolding of your life purpose. When you make this shift, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your vibration changes. Your entire experience of life changes. You stop being a beggar at life's table and remember that you are a co-creator with the divine. You stop trying to prove your worth and start expressing your inherent value. You stop looking for ways to make a living and start living your way of making a difference. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Every time you desperately look for work, you're actually pushing away your good. Every time you approach life from a place of lack, you're denying your divine birthright of abundance. Every time you doubt whether there's enough for you, you're questioning the infinite intelligence that maintains the entire universe. Do you realize that worry is actually a form of negative prayer? When you worry about your future, about your finances, about your work, you're essentially praying for what you don't want. You're focusing your creative energy on lack rather than abundance, on fear rather than faith, on limitation rather than possibility. Right now, in this very moment, there are opportunities surrounding you that you can't see because you're too busy looking for what you think you need. It's like being in an orchard full of ripe fruit and keeping your eyes glued to the ground, searching for fallen scraps. Look up. The abundance you're seeking is already there, waiting for you to notice it. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you stop looking for work and start allowing your divine assignment to find you, you begin to understand that work isn't something you do to earn your living. It's how you express your living. There's a world of difference between these two approaches. Think about artists when they're completely absorbed in their creation. They're not watching the clock. They're not calculating their hourly rate. They're not wondering if they're doing it right. They're simply allowing their creative energy to flow through them. This is how all work is meant to be a natural expression of who you are, not a struggle to become what you think you should be. Some of you might be thinking, but not everyone can be an artist. Someone has to do the mundane jobs. Let me challenge that thinking. There's no such thing as mundane work when it's done with awareness and alignment. The person who sweeps floors with presence and gratitude is expressing their divine assignment just as surely as the surgeon performing a life-saving operation. The issue isn't the work itself. It's our relationship with the work. When we're aligned with our true purpose, even seemingly ordinary tasks become infused with meaning and joy. When we're out of alignment, even the most prestigious positions feel empty and unfulfilling. It's your fruit that might be hard to hear. If you're constantly looking for work, you're actually affirming that work is something separate from you, something you have to chase and capture. But your true work isn't separate from you. It's an expression of you. It's as natural as breathing, as automatic as your heartbeat. Think about the times in your life when opportunities came to you effortlessly. Think about those moments when you were so absorbed in what you were doing that you lost track of time. Think about those instances when you helped someone and felt completely alive and fulfilled. These weren't coincidences. They were glimpses of your divine assignment in action. The universe is not a vending machine where you put in effort and get out rewards. It's more like a dance partner waiting for you to feel the rhythm and move in harmony with it. When you're in that harmony, work doesn't feel like work anymore. It feels like love in action. It feels like purpose expressing itself through you. But let me be very clear about something. This isn't about waiting passively for opportunities to fall into your lap. This is about active surrender. It's about doing what's in front of you with full presence while remaining open to divine guidance. It's about taking inspired action rather than forced action. Consider how water nourishes a garden. It doesn't force its way into the roots of plants. It simply flows to the lowest points, and the plants naturally draw up what they need. Your divine assignment works the same way. When you stop forcing and start flowing, when you stop searching and start allowing, everything you need comes to you naturally. This requires a profound trust. Not in external circumstances, not in other people, not even in yourself, but in the divine intelligence that orchestrates everything in perfect order. This trust isn't blind faith. It's based on universal law. Just as you trust gravity will keep you grounded, you can trust that your divine assignment will find expression through you. Some of you are sitting there thinking, this sounds good, but what about my immediate needs? What about my responsibilities? Remember this. The same power that gave you those responsibilities also gave you the ability to meet them. Your job isn't to figure out how everything will work out. Your job is to stay aligned with your highest truth and let the universe handle the details. Every great achievement in human history started with someone who stopped looking for work and started allowing their divine assignment to work through them. Every meaningful invention, every powerful movement, every transformative discovery came through someone who was aligned with their purpose rather than desperately seeking their path. The transformation we're talking about doesn't happen overnight. It's not about making dramatic changes or radical leaps. It's about a gradual shift in consciousness, a steady realignment with truth. It begins with small moments of trust, tiny acts of faith, quiet decisions to choose alignment over fear. Start where you are right now. Whatever work you're currently doing, do it with full presence. Stop thinking about where you should be or what you should be doing. Stop comparing your path to others. Stop trying to force outcomes. Instead, ask yourself this powerful question. So, how can I serve right here, right now? When you shift your focus from getting to giving, from seeking to serving, from forcing to flowing, everything changes. The energy you used to spend looking for work can now be channeled into becoming more of who you truly are. The anxiety about the future transforms into excitement about what's unfolding. The fear of not having enough becomes gratitude for what's already present. Let me share something profound with you. Every single person in this room has a unique contribution to make. You're not here by accident. You're not here to compete with others or to prove your worth. You're here to express your divine assignment in a way that only you can. No one else can do what you're here to do in quite the way you're meant to do it. Think about that for a moment. Your uniqueness isn't a burden. It's a gift. Your differences aren't obstacles to overcome. They're essential elements of your purpose. The very things you've been trying to change about yourself might be exactly what the world needs from you. When you truly understand this, job hunting becomes obsolete. You stop trying to fit yourself into existing positions and start allowing your position to create itself around you. You stop asking, what job can I get? And start asking, what contribution am I designed to make? The universe doesn't make mistakes. You weren't created to struggle, to suffer, to constantly search for your place in the world. You were created to thrive, to contribute, to express the divine in your own unique way. The only thing standing between you and this truth is your belief in limitation. Right now, I want you to place your hand on your heart again. Feel its steady rhythm. That beating is your evidence that you're supported by a power greater than yourself. You didn't have to figure out how to make your heart beat. You didn't have to attend classes on blood circulation. I didn't have to look for ways to make your lungs work. These things were given to you freely, operating perfectly without your conscious effort. This same intelligence, the same power, this same loving provision is available to you in every area of your life, including your work. But you have to stop blocking it with your doubt, your fear, your limited thinking. You have to stop trying to control everything and start trusting in the perfect unfolding of your divine assignment. From this moment forward, make a commitment to yourself. Commit to stopping the desperate search for work. Commit to releasing the anxiety about your future. Commit to trusting in the divine intelligence that created you. This doesn't mean becoming passive or irresponsible. It means becoming responsive to your inner guidance rather than reactive to external circumstances. When opportunities come, and they will, evaluate them not by their outer appearance, but by how they feel in your heart. Does this opportunity align with who you truly are? Does it allow you to express your authentic gifts? Does it contribute to the greater good? These are the questions that matter. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Every person who has ever made a meaningful contribution to the world has gone through this same transformation. They all had to shift from seeking to allowing, from forcing to flowing, from fear to faith. The time has come to stop looking for work and start allowing your divine assignment to express through you. The time has come to trust in the perfect unfolding of your purpose. The time has come to remember who you really are and why you're really here. As you leave this room today, carry this truth with you. Your work, your true work, isn't something you need to find. It's something you need to allow to find you. It's already within you, waiting to be expressed. It's already around you, waiting to be recognized. It's already part of you, waiting to be embraced. Stop looking for work. Start living your purpose. The universe will handle the details. This is not just a nice idea or a comforting thought. This is universal law. This is divine truth. This is your birth. The choice is yours now. Will you continue the exhausting search for work, or will you open yourself to the magnificent unfolding of your divine assignment? Will you trust in the limited resources of your own efforts, or will you align yourself with the infinite abundance of the universe? Remember, God said, stop looking for work. From now on, it's God's duty. Your duty is simply to be who you were created to be, to do what you're inspired to do, and to trust in the perfect unfolding of your divine purpose. Stand up now, take a deep breath, feel the truth of who you are. Your divine assignment is calling. Will you answer?